5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And here we are. We're back with Luminary Leaders Live. My name is Shelly Harrison. I'm your host, and I love doing this show because I have the most fascinating people in the world. And today I get to interview someone that I've known for a few years now. She has her own podcast. She is an amazing woman, very colorful, and you'll see her in just a moment. I just want to say thank you to all of you who follow us, that have subscribed to our YouTube channel, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're streaming live on multiple platforms. And I want to give a shout out to the Global Women's Network group that I have on Facebook. We have over 5,000 women there. And on LinkedIn, those of you that are connected with me, I adore you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being connected. And if you want to be a guest on the show, shoot me an inbox message or just something to let me know. But I love hearing from all of you, and thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to bring on Heather Zeitzwolfe. Her and I, like I'd mentioned, have known each other for a few years. She is just adorable. And when you hear what she does, you're going to be surprised. So let me go ahead and bring on Heather. Hello, Heather.
Hi. Hi.
I just love it. I love it because every time I see you, I put a smile on my face because you just have this just this ambiance of, being colorful and friendly, and you've always got a smile on your face. And, you are a CPA at heart. So you have, you're the owner of Zeitzwolfe Accounting, and it's all about get rad in your business. And I want to welcome you. And we're also streaming to your platform too. So do you want to give a shout out to your connections and contacts?
Yeah. So, hey, pay attention. This is very cool. I've not done this before. We're using StreamYard, and so we're connecting in different places. I'm loving this. I love technology. Isn't this fun?
I know, don't we? Yeah. And we, we're having fun. It's all about really just connecting and being able to, just give insight to our audience. And today, Heather, that's what we want to do, because we're going to talk about AI, which a lot of people are talking about that. But the cool thing is you're going to be able to give some examples, because I know your backdrop that you have is AI generated. So yeah, check that out. And then we're also going to talk about your brand, because you have such a unique brand. And I'm like, when you look at the work that you do and you're all about numbers, and you have this fun side of you. And we've been connected, through your radio show or your podcast show, because we had some of our clients on your podcast. One in particular who you're very close with is Katarina Rando. And I've done a lot with Katarina, and I'm so excited. So we'll give Katarina a shout out too. But I would love for you to kind of share with our audience, where you are today and what gets you so excited about the work that you do and how you've been able to get to the point that you are right now.
Oh, wow. Okay. There's a lot to unpack there, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
but I think it's all in one.
Well, I'm a nerd. I think that's where it all comes from. And as far as, for my career anyways, being an accountant, a CPA, like that's about as nerdy as you can get. But I have not always been a CPA. I used to be in fashion design. That was my first degree.
Oh.
And then I studied advertising. So I love marketing and advertising. And I worked in market research, and I was a project manager. And I've been a store manager. So I've had kind of a crazy background. I've done theater, and my first career was a clown as a kid with my mom.
Really? So, I see that. Yeah. I see you'd be a fun clown. Yeah.
We were hokey and pokey. So I've never kind of gotten out of that comfort of, I love costumes. So let's just put it that way. I'm like, if I look around my room, I'm surrounded by costumes. So I love to infuse that kind of fun energy into what I do. So just because I am an accountant, that doesn't mean that I have to be boring. And I am a nerd, but nerds don't have to be boring either. So
No, not at
it's
all.
so I'm bringing it all together. It's all coming full circle.
Yeah, and what's funny is that it is tax season for you right now. So, we're taking a little break here. You're on Luminary Leaders Live, and even though it's busy tax season, I appreciate that you're here because I really wanted to share you with our audience and talk about, when I look at how you've branded yourself, Heather, it's very extraordinary, because you've got this look about yourself, and with your hair, and you've got the images that you put out there. It is fun. And I don't want to say nerdy. I mean, it's a fun nerdy if you look at it that way, but
Yeah,
you're
I've got a lot of disco references
yes,
and
yeah,
funk music
80s,
and 80s. It's
yeah,
very me. So I do a
yeah,
lot of the branding, if you want to say like the branding colors and the just
yeah.
the whole vibe. I'll just say it's vibe. It's more of a vibe.
Yeah, it
It's
is a
all me.
vibe. It's definitely a
It's all
vibe.
me.
But you are and not but you are serious about numbers because you have all your
Yes.
clients that you work with, and you take care of their taxes. You're very detail oriented, so we want to put that disclaimer out there too.
That is very much true, and, I am known as a stickler for rules. That is something that has always been, like my siblings would always tease me, like, "You're such a stickler," and we'd play a game, and I'd be like, "That's not in the rules," but at
Yeah.
the same time, I, have a rebel kinda sensibility, so, like, there's certain areas where I'm like, I wanna go against the grain, I wanna be shocking and different, and it's just not because I want it for the shock
Mm,
value, it's just that I am different. I don't really fit in to the norm, that I've never
yeah.
been that way. But at the same time, where the rules really matter, I'm following those rules. So I'm a Libra. I've got like the back and forth. I got the creative and then I've got the analytical. So it's like I
Yeah.
know like where you can cross the boundaries and where you shouldn't. So, you know, like I'm
Exactly.
creative, but I'm
Exactly.
not creative with accounting, that way.
Exactly. Oh yeah, good point. Good point. And you know what I was hearing is like rebel detail oriented because you're fun, you have this glow about you, whenever you show up on meetings that we've been on together where there's other people, other women, you know you could definitely tell there's Heather, because she's got your hair, your everything about you is just very you're and you're a very intelligent woman. I'll put that out there because that's obviously that goes hand in hand with being someone that helps people build profitability and work in numbers, and it's important that you have that, right?
Yeah, and
Mhm.
I love to learn, and I recently found out that you used to be in banking, and you were a
I
banker,
did,
right?
yes,
So
for
your
28
numbers.
years. But but
Wow.
you know what's so funny is that I totally like, I love loud music. I love doing funky things. I never really fit the mold, but I went to work every day, dressed as a stuffy banker, as people would say, the suit, the nylons, the high heels. And I'm so glad I don't have to do that anymore. So sorry, bankers, I know you have to be professional. But being a former banker, it's really helped me in my business now. Um, and like where you have your own company and you could do anything you want in terms of, the way that you show up as far as, your branding. And let's talk about your branding.
Yeah.
I know, for what you do, Heather, what goes through your mind when you think, okay, I'm going to show up like this today? What goes through your mind?
Yeah, you know what? Not much because I'm so authentic and
Yeah.
real that I don't really concentrate on that so much. It's more when
Uh-huh.
I have to be not myself that it makes more of an impact. So you can't
Oh,
see it, but I have a closet full of suits and that sort of thing. Now, granted, the
okay.
suits are very cute, but it's not something I want to wear every day. So if I
Yeah,
had to put one of
exactly.
those on and like you were talking about with the nylons and the
Oh
shoes and
gosh.
like, oh
Don't
my
even get
god.
me
And
started.
yeah.
Oh,
So that to me is uncomfortable and I would be more conscientious about like, oh my god, oh maybe this isn't straight or this and that. But I love the fact that we live in this Zoom world where we can actually be more of ourselves because we're coming from our living rooms or our dining
Yeah.
rooms or our dens or wherever we're coming from. Sometimes people are coming from their bedroom, and
Yeah.
we I think it's more socially accepted now to be yourself. And
I
I
think so
want people to
too.
be themselves when they're working with me. I don't want them to be like feeling like, "Oh my god, I'm going to talk to my accountant. I've got to be like, ugh." Like, hey,
Gotta be all
I've
professional.
yeah, and people
Yeah.
get so stressed out, if they've never worked with me because they, maybe they've went to a bank, talked to a banker, or they've talked to other accountants and they felt like it was all like very prim and proper or whatever. But I'm just very real with people, and I want people to be the same with me. Now, granted, I take it very, very seriously. I mean, we're talking about very intimate details,
Oh,
and I always
yeah.
say like things that they may not tell their preacher or their priest about, but they're talking to me about, and maybe their
Yes.
spouse or
Yeah.
something. And people may cry the first time they talk to me because
Mhm.
it's like they feel so stressed out about what's going on with their
Yeah.
money. And then probably one of my favorite things is to like help people relieve that stress, because I'll talk to them and I'll be like, hey, I've seen worse. There's no shame here. Let's just put it out in the open. Let's talk about it and let's figure out how we're going to fix it. And there's
Yeah.
always a way to fix it. So
There
y-
is.
yeah, so I
Yeah.
feel like I'm part therapist, besides part accountant.
Oh my gosh. Well, we are going to take a quick break, a commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about AI and some more branding, and we're going to get into your mind. So we'll be
Ooh.
right back after this commercial break. And welcome back to Luminary Leaders Live. My name is Shelly Harrison. I'm your host, and I'm here with the wonderful Heather Zeitzwolfe with Zeitzwolfe Accounting. So, Heather,
Yeah.
when we left for the commercial, I now want to kind of touch on the topic of AI and how you're using it in your business.
Yeah, thank you. I am so excited about AI. Now, one caveat, the ethical parts of
Yeah,
AI. So, yes, it is kind of, we've all seen Terminator, right? It's like the future can be scary. Like, what is going to happen with this stuff? And nefarious things are always going to happen no matter what. I mean, people scam on
yeah,
the internet. I mean, anything that's new and out there. So, I want to just set that as a bar. Like, I understand there's
mhm.
ethical ramifications, but at the same time, this is not going to go away. The genie is out of the bottle, and we
Yeah.
need
That's a good way
to,
to put it.
yeah, we
Yeah.
need to embrace it as business owners, because it's just like when you think back when, okay, so this is going to age me, but I'm in my mid
Okay, me
50s.
too.
Yeah. So my first job I had in fashion, I was working in the Empire State Building. And if we wanted
Oh,
to communicate with another department, we had to send envelopes. Like a mail guy would come around to
oh
our
my.
desks, and we'd put stuff in an envelope, and we'd have to say what department it was going to go to, and he'd pick it up
Oh
and
my
he'd bring it
gosh.
down there. So,
Isn't it
okay,
crazy?
fast forward, and then there was this thing called email. And I was like, email, what is this? And then it was we were going to communicate with people within our own office with email. And it was like,
Yeah.
but can't I just walk over there and talk to that person? Like that seems so stupid at the time, right? And then it's like, oh, well, you can communicate with other people outside of the company. And then, so it's like it's just a new thing. We have to get used to it. It's just like because
Yeah.
we hadn't thought of it before, cell phones. I remember when texting became a thing, and I was like, texting, what happened to calling people? Now it's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I don't even want to answer the phone. Like, just
You know,
text
or
me.
let alone make a phone call, right? Unless it's,
Right.
to a friend or a family member. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, can't you
Yeah.
just text me? I don't look at my voice messages. So, it's just a matter of
Well,
getting used to things. So the same thing with AI, but AI is moving so fast. So I mean,
it's
those other
rapid.
those other things, they kind of came on slowly. It's like, okay, you went from your flip phone to maybe a smartphone. It's like there was that transition period where this
Yeah.
is like I could talk about some piece of AI one week and the next week it's completely different. They've like changed things. So
Yeah,
it's moving super, super fast.
it
So
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So rather than being like, start to jump in and just try it. Now,
Mhm.
the other thing though is if you have tried it and you're like, that's crappy, I'm getting like terrible results and this and that. Well, one, again, it's changing rapidly. And two,
Mhm.
you could be using a piece of software that maybe is not the right fit for you, or it could be all about what you're putting in. So garbage
Exactly.
in, garbage out, right? So,
That's right.
uh, and
Yeah.
there could be like thinking like plagiarism, like we don't know where these things are coming from, we don't know what it's
Mhm.
generating. So my use around AI is that I try to use as much of my own material as
Mhm.
possible, feed it into that, and then start to get some nuances of like, oh, okay, maybe I could put a workbook together for my clients from maybe this podcast episode that I had. Or
Yeah.
maybe I can take all these different things that I've like made all these different blogs. Maybe I can put it together and maybe, make a newsletter. I mean, there's just so many
There's
possibilities of things
yeah.
that, yeah, that we could just reuse what we've already done. Because, I mean, as content creators, we've already made a lot of content. So we can go back and use
Mhm.
stuff. I mean, people are
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about like writing a book from your podcast. Well, now you can use AI to help you put all that
Do
together.
that.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many uses, and I love making images. So you were talking about my branding, and so I
Right.
used to be in I did the marketing route. I've studied multimedia design. I fancy myself as a graphic designer and a design,
You do a
with
great job
fashion
of it.
design. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I have a tendency to want to dabble in this stuff myself, and I have hired people to help me with graphics and stuff, but a lot of people just don't get quite where I'm going. So sometimes it's just easier for me to do it myself. But like
Yeah.
I'm going to be giving a speech where I believe you're probably going to be there for the Bliss Summit on Friday.
Yeah, 2
And
more days. Yeah, with
yeah,
Katrina. Yeah.
yes,
I'll
and
be
I'm
there.
gonna be yeah, so I'm gonna be talking about a story that happened to me when I had a green mohawk, and,
Oh,
uh, and, so I was trying to create some artwork based on myself and I put into various, AI tools, graphic tools. This one I really liked, other ones were just terrible. So, it's
mm,
you gotta find the applications that work for you and finding the right prompts and all of that. So, so exciting.
exactly. Yeah, it is exciting. And it sounds like you use AI in newsletters, you input your information and see what comes out. Like you said, you like to look for the nuances. And sometimes, like when you put something in there, it's the way you ask and what you're asking for. And that's what I've been able to really, modify and be more creative with the content that I'm getting, but I always want to make it my own. And I hear that you
Yeah.
do the same thing. So and that's what's
Yeah.
important. And a lot of people feel like, yeah, you have to make it your own because you don't want it to seem AI-ish or chat GPT, where it generated from chat GPT.
Right, and, like, one thing that I wanted to come up with was, for a LinkedIn article, I wanted to do something about profit and loss, and I was like, "Okay, profit and loss, that's kinda boring for people, and how do you talk about this and make it interesting?" And then I was like, looking around my room and trying to get ideas, and I was like, "Zoolander." I love Zoolander, so that's, like, one of my
Oh
favorite
yeah,
movies. So
that's a
then I
good
was like,
movie.
"What so what if I combine Zoolander and profit and loss?" Like, not something that most people would think about,
Yeah,
so I did that in, ChatGPT, and then I, kind of nuance did certain things, and I was like there were certain reference points in the movie that I wanted to hit on, and so I put those in, and so it helped me, blend all that stuff together, and it took a lot less time than me, trying to contemplate, like, "How am I gonna
trying to
phrase this
create
sentence?"
that.
And
Yes.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
it took something that I had written about profit and loss and then Zoolander and then like the characters I wanted to use and like I was like,
Oh,
no, let's use Blue Steel and Latigra. Like I wanted to have those things. And
oh my
yeah, so
gosh. I'll have to go look at it. So it's out there already. Is it on your blog or is it on LinkedIn?
it's on LinkedIn. It's like one of my blogs
LinkedIn.
from
I
LinkedIn.
definitely
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
watch. Yeah, I want to go look at it. I think that's so much fun. And I love the way that you're using it too. And especially for the graphics and different things that you can use it for. So I'm looking forward to you speaking on Friday. I knew that you were going to be there speaking. And you do speak, right? Heather, aside from being, a CPA and, doing the work that you do with consulting with your clients, you're also a speaker, right?
Yes, and I
Yeah.
do love a microphone. So, I love to be up on
No,
stage.
really?
Yes, I love to present, I love to teach,
Yeah.
I love, uh I love it when you can, bring an audience into whatever it is that you're presenting or make them
Mhm.
part of the presentation and all of that. So I feed off of that energy. So it's really
Yeah.
nice to be back on live stages than just the
Oh,
Zoom environment. And it's
yeah.
always with the Zoom thing, I love speaking still on Zoom, but you'll have the people turn off their camera or you see them, like, going like this and maybe
That's
typing or
true.
checking their cell phone and all of that. So, man, I love be on an actual stage. I love that because
Yeah.
then you can look at the audience and see the reactions and hear them laugh. Because on Zoom, everybody's on mute. You're like, "Did my joke fly? I have no idea."
Oh, I know, and then you wanna get the reactions from everybody, and sometimes people don't do that, they're just like, they're working on something else but if it's a really dynamic speaker and, like you, I could just imagine that you would keep the energy of the room or Zoom room, if you will, where you would keep them engaged and feeling good and just continue, to give them just your insight and everything, and it's difficult when you're in a Zoom room and you see that happening because it could wear on your mind and
Mhm.
you feel like, gosh, are they really getting it? But if a lot of times, I mean, and let me ask you this, do you feel like, you know what, if you just don't let it bother you and just keep going and giving your greatness, it doesn't matter, right?
Exactly, and sometimes it's just a matter of minimizing the people in the audience in the Zoom room and not looking at that because if you see
Yeah.
that people are distracted or something, it will distract you. So,
Oh
keep your eye
yes.
on that green camera that's up above and just focus on that and focus
And
on I don't care if there's 2 people in the room, I'm gonna give it all my all and
yeah,
just go for it. And
yeah.
yeah, it's but, this is the world that we're in. Like, I'm very physical on stage. I love to, like, utilize the stage and have props and, do my, the body stuff. Like I told you, I was a clown, so it's like I'm very physical when I present. So, but now I've got this space,
Yes.
and like
Yeah.
right now I've got a
You
microphone,
can
so I
only
don't
do
want to
so
bump it.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, with a microphone like this, so yeah, I have to be careful I don't bump it, so it's not like, "Brrr," but, otherwise, I might have my earbuds in, and then I can utilize the space, but it is we
Yeah.
again, technology, we gotta get used to this because this is the
We
future, this
do.
is now, we gotta use this, so if we are speakers, we have to adapt.
Exactly. Exactly. And I know, when you do get up and speak. So, final question, because I know we've got to end the broadcast shortly here, but I would love to get your perspective on, how to, when you think of what the topics that you speak on, how to get booked for speaking. What is your take on
Oh,
that?
yeah. I think it's all about networking and getting to know people and putting yourself out there. Sometimes it's just a matter of volunteering, maybe for something. Like if you want to speak at a conference, go volunteer at the conference, get them to know who you are. Ask
Yes.
people in your network. They could be part of some chamber that needs a speaker and you have no idea unless you're talking to them and letting people know, like, hey, I'm looking for speaking engagements. Put yourself
Yeah.
out there, apply to speak. You may get a no, but no's kind of give you some indication of like, okay, well, maybe the title sucked, or hopefully you can ask people and get some feedback on maybe why it didn't fly. But I've applied for things and I was like, why didn't I get accepted? And then I talked to other people that also applied and they didn't get accepted, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, they're like way beyond in this particular
Oh,
area and they didn't get accepted, and they'll tell me like, "Oh, no, most of the time it's the people that are sponsors, they pay for the," it's like, "Oh, okay, now it
Exactly.
makes sense."
And people who know someone that's a speaker and they wanna
Yeah,
get them in there. There are so many variables. There really
yeah.
are. Yeah,
And
but
Toastmasters, I would take go to Toastmasters, learn how to speak from Toastmasters. I hate it when I hear myself ums, ahs, and likes, and all the
oh,
so's, and all those things, but that is a great, place to learn how to speak, and from there, you will meet a lot of people that are doing speaking engagements, and maybe they can help you as well. So networking is so important.
I totally agree. Totally agree. Well, Heather, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on Luminary Leaders Live, and I love your energy. I know we're connected on so many levels with, Katerina and, your podcast show. And what is the name of your podcast show? Let everybody know.
So my podcast is called Get Radical with Your Business, but
Mhm.
it might be changing soon, so
Oh, so we'll stay tuned. We will stay tuned.
yes,
And,
yes.
thank you for the clients of ours with Luminary Leaders that you've had on your show. We always appreciate, when you take our clients to have them on your show. Most
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and of course, Katerina, she's, like, changed my life, so Shelly, I have to, pay tribute to you that, you
Oh,
changed my life because I met Katerina through you, so, and
oh, I
yes. So,
appreciate that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
I'm glad that
totally.
you 2 connected and just took off with it, and my gosh, the things that you've done together. Now you've gone on cruises with her and all kinds of
I
other
know.
things. So it definitely was something that needed to happen. So I'm glad that you both have really connected on such a deep level.
Thank
That's
you.
just exceptional, exceptional. So, well, we are at the end of the show, Heather. Again, thank you so much. Thank you to all of those who have uh, tuned in, and we have a user that said hi, Shelley. Okay, I'm sorry I didn't catch that earlier. Well, hello. I'm not sure who that is, but thank you for tuning in. So again, thank you so much to our listeners, followers, those that are uh, tuned in either live or you catch this episode later. We want to thank you for your support, and Heather, thank you so much for being on Luminary Leaders Live. It's been amazing having you, and we will check with everyone next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Bye.